Hey guys, and welcome back to No More Heroes. We're going to very quickly take a dump, and then we're going to move on to the rank 8th assassin, I believe, Richie?
You are indeed correct with rank 8.
Hooray.
English. It might as well be. They might as well say congratulations.
So, without giving too much away, what can we expect from this particular assassin, Richie?
Well, we are going to be heading to the No More Heroes school, or the Santa Destroy school. So, they're pretty young. And there may or may not be massive plot relevance for this character.
I'm sure there's some kind of political message there, like, oh, we're training young people to be soldiers, and they're like, but that sounds like something out... Oh, that's a fucking N64 there, sorry, I got derailed for a second. I was gonna say it's kind of like a Hideo Kojima thing with kid soldiers and the like, but whatever.
Yo, Kojima loves himself some child soldier commentary, I'll tell you what.
Have to say, I'm quite grateful that I've never gotten into Metal Gear Solid, because I've never had to know the joys of Hideo Kojima's political messages.
Well, I've been watching a thing on Giant Bomb called Metal Gear Scanlan, which is where I think it's Drew and I forget the other guy's name. They're playing through the Metal Gear series, and one of them is playing it for the first time, and it's extremely compelling and enough of a reason to go premium, I guess. Thank you, month, for my trial or whatever. By the way, so we just going straight there, or are we changing into some new duds first?
Well, pretty much we are going to be changing into new duds every time we go to a new ranking fight. The only exception will be pretty much right at the end. But otherwise, every time we're going for new clothing, just because, why not?
What do you like to wear, Helldragon, when you go out to assassinate someone, your enemies, if you will?
Well, I have this cute little pair of shorts I like to bust out for the occasion.
Yeah, because if you're going to destroy someone, you may as well look good while you do it, right?
Also, I go there in flip-flops with socks on, because that distracts them.
I'll do it on the beach as well.
Oh, I just threw up in my fucking mouth. That star's not spinning! You're disappointing me here, Richie!
I'm sorry, I didn't do it on all of them. I did it on some, but not all.
How can you not do it on all of them? Maybe I'm just hyper ADD, but I just cannot stop spinning the star.
Well, basically, after I realised that continually pressing the B, sometimes you end up continuing to press the B into the cutscene, and then it brings up the little skip button. I kind of wanted to try and avoid that at all costs.
Fine, I guess that's a reason or something.
I like how the current katana you're using actually has its own little, like, 8-bit icon. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of them have some form of 8-bit icon. There's basically an 8-bit version of everything in this game.
If I'm recalling correctly, like you're showing on screen here, you have to pay for your way into these boss fights, don't you?
You do indeed. Thankfully, because of, obviously, this being New Game Plus, we already have quite a nice pot of money. So, I believe this is the last fight at which we are going to have enough to just go immediately into the next ranking fight. But if you're playing the game normally, for the first, well, to get to even Dr. Peace, you're going to have to do side jobs and assassination gigs to earn money, because that is the only way of getting any progression happening, really.
I probably shouldn't be questioning the logic of putting bills back into an ATM machine to pay someone, but then again, this is No More Heroes, and that's one of the more normal things in the game, shall we say.
It's probably the best simulation of marriage I've ever seen. It actually makes it more entertaining with all the enhanced graphics.
What are you doing here, Richie?
I got stuck. Basically, if you leave the Tiger kind of sitting in something that you have previously destroyed, it can, once you've gone to the ATM, if it's still there and things have respawned, it gets stuck.
Ah, okay.
So I was trying to get out and failing miserably.
Well, it's either that or an Austin Powers moment, I guess. So you go to the ATM, you pay your fees, and then you go back and call Sylvia?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
See, I thought we were going back to the motel to take a nap, because that's what I like to do before I get my bloodthirst quenched.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, considering the fact that there's no indication that Travis sleeps at all throughout this entire run, so a nap would probably be a very good idea.
because I cannot decide what to wear to the association's party tonight.
I love the bullshit moments with Sylvia. She's just like going about her day-to-day routines, but she's discussing murder and whatnot on the phone.
Yeah, try doing that in a coal, see how far it can get you.
Yeah, whatever.
There's also a lot of sort of fan service in these sequences, but
And then what?
in comparison to the sequel, this is actually tasteful fan service, which is a bit of an oxymoron, really.
Or tame, would you say?
Tame, in certain instances, I'd say, it's definitely much more tasteful than the sequel, because this sort of has arty kind of moments of nudity. The sequel kind of basically shows boobs and crotches into your face.
I thought you said RC for a moment. I was like, that's not really subtle.
No, artsy.
Let's just put it this way. When Sylvia has her scenes in this game, she's doing something that may require her to take clothes off. Like, she just doesn't give a fuck, so she'll be on the phone, changing dresses, whatever. In the second one, she's using a fucking fat buster waistband thing that's jiggling her all around.
Yeah, if there's one thing I can say for the sequel, it definitely goes, like, balls to the walls, and any element of subtlety that was in the first game is just gone, really. Whether that's an improvement is, I guess, up to the person playing the game, but I think the first one had a bit more, well, not dignity, because that would be a very kind of word or term to use, but grace, I guess?
I'd say you're pretty kind of correct with that, because there's this weird thing that Desperate Struggle does, which is it ends up going balls to the wall crazy with respect to like Sylvia and the boss fights, but for some bizarre reason it takes itself very, very seriously. So you end up with this weird disconnect, whereas the original No More Heroes here finds quite a nice balance between the comedy and the darker moments.
Sorry, that's so funny.
You know, looking at this game with the aesthetic towards 8-bit graphics, I'm getting a real... the closest other game I can think of that connects with this is Hotline Miami. You know that?
Oh yeah, it also has sort of similar commentary on violence, both in games and real life because of games. Although Hotline Miami decides that it's going to be a bit more obscure in it. This one is literally violence and dick. Also, the lightsaber is his dick. Do you get it? Whereas Hotline Miami is so fucking confusing when you actually get to the commentary. It's like, oh, I get it.
I have to say, most of the levels just involve, like, going through areas and killing a lot of people, but I've always loved, like, residential settings in games, whether it be, like, malls, schools, etc. So this was always one of my favourite bits to go through, and the boss itself is a kind of a wake-up call boss, like, Death Metal and Dr. Peace. They were, you know, sort of like tutorial bosses. You had one that was on Travis's level, you had a projectile kind of boss, which will set you up for later things in the game. This one, it's back to like a Travis style of enemy, but so much harder, you really don't see it coming.
Oh, definitely. It's a real weird difficulty spike, and it's particularly odd because then the next batch of boss fights aren't necessarily a progressively more difficult. They kind of sit around this / easier than this, and they only really start to get hard again right at the end of the game, which is really weird.
So I know we're using the final sword, but we did skip the first two. The first, and the combos actually sort of change
which is really
based
cool
on what swords you're using. Yeah, with this one, the whole premise of this katana, the reason why it's the best is, well, for one, its final slash will hit, like, way more enemies, but also, it's the swiftest, more acrobatic sword. So him tossing it into the air, recatching it to do a downward slice, that's only with this sword. And, he's also wielding it one-handed. The other two swords, he either holds it all the time, or most of the time in two hands.
In the second game, I think you get like a bigger variety. Like there's a huge one, which is obviously a two-handed sword that does really heavy attacks, but obviously is kind of slow. And then you get like two really thin kind of katanas, which are, you know, great for fast melee attacks, and I remember that most from the first trailer for No More Heroes 2, which I fucking love, where he's like, this isn't a battle anymore, this is a motherfucking war.
Yeah, that was the hint that made everyone just explode in their pants. Was, oh my god, 2 sabers? Are you fucking shitting me?
Travis, you are the loser.
Well, hopefully that means that by the time No More Heroes 3 eventually comes out, we'll get 3 lightsabers.
Oh, so 1 in the mouth, and then he's just basically Zorro at that point?
No, I think I know what Richie's getting at. 2 in the hand, 1 strapped around his, waist, so he uses it as a crotch sword. I see where your mind's going.
Richie, you're filthy!
I wasn't quite where it was going, it was just the going up in numbers. I wasn't particularly bothered where it was going to be, but that was where your mind went, Tom, not mine.
Personally, I want to see a General Grievous kind of fight, where, guys uses both his hands, he's also got one of his feet. Maybe he's a cyborg, I don't know. It probably would fit No More Heroes, now that I think about it.
Actually, now that you say that, there is a boss in the second game, and I think
That's what I figured. That's what I figured, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like an obvious path to go down, isn't it? It's such a cool visual kind of thing, but it's a hard as fuck fight, and it pisses me off because it kind of wears me out, to be honest.
I mean, I have to say, that's a pretty damn cool fight, because it's, I think, Alice Moonlight.
Yeah.
And it's something that's quite cool with No More Heroes 2, is that you get a couple of really quite spectacular female boss fights right at the end of the game, because there's that fight with Alice Moonlight, which is... It's a really good fight, and it's got quite a good cutscene before and after. And you also have Margaret, who's like a sniper shooter, and that has one of the best boss battle songs in the entire series.
You're a goddamn Philistine.
Indeed.
You also come across more Beam Katana users, but it kind of makes sense because by the end of this game, Travis is famous.
Yeah.
And so, especially within the association, his style of fighting, and particularly his weaponry, would also become more popular and more famous, so it makes sense that more people would pick up Beam Katanas.
I like how the gimmick in this stage is these guys here wielding fiery sticks can actually set you alight, and you have to find fire extinguishers to put yourself out.
Yeah, it's a bit of an annoying gimmick. I mean, you get quite a fun gimmick, I think it's in the next corridor, but it does kind of show that throughout No More Heroes, despite the fact that a lot of the levels are just the same of kill enemies, go to the next room, kill enemies, they do try to change it up every now and again with something unique that you won't get in any of the other levels.
What it really means to be is a social commentary on the state of public education and how they value safety. How much of the budget is actually allocated into properly keeping our schools and our children's safety up to code. So kudos to you, Mr. 51.
I was going to add something, but I'd rather just watch this, personally.
Oh, this is just the tip of the weirdness iceberg, mate. We've got so much more to come.
Pants.
Why can't we just touch the baddies and conduct electricity through them as well?
Well, because that would be the intelligent thing to do, and Travis isn't smart.
Electrocuting your enemies, the intelligent thing to do.
I noticed there aren't, like you said, a lot of students in the halls. Is this a half day, or is this a Wii game?
Wow.
Kind of a mixture. I mean, as you'll find out shortly, this is sort of during, a class period. So a lot of the students are technically meant to be in their classrooms. So these are just loiterers who are weird.
Stay in school.
I thought these were the sanitation managers.
They might be, I have absolutely no idea.
One of my favourite parts of the commentary is either Mexi or Helldragon or even me, I guess, throwing something out, and Richie has to try and react to it.
Richie, here's a thing, now catch it.
Nice little light effects coming through the windows.
Yeah, it is pretty damn cool. I mean, I'd say sort of, considering this is technically an early Wii game, there's actually a surprising amount of impressive effects that go on in it. Which I really do like.
Left. The direction was left, Richie, just wanted to let you know.
I can't help it that the Wiimote buggers up.
Wonder if Travis graduated high school, because he doesn't really seem like that kind of guy.
I'm willing to bet he got his GED, it's fine.
I'm gonna let you guys know, this is the American education system, especially in California. I'm pretty sure he passed. They kinda had to pass him.
Yeah, but we're playing the PAL version, surely the education system changes to, fit the system.
Oh yeah, and you guys have a grading system based off the number 2 or some shit. I don't know what a 2 is, but I can tell you what an A+ is.
I can tell you what a C is.
Well, now I'm just confused.
Exactly!
Am I going to have to try and explain the UK schooling system?
Please don't.
Don't.
No. Well, we're here to watch things explode into a bunch of pixels, not talk about school, even though we're actually in school right now.
Well, we're in the gym now, so it's not important.
Oh, this better be some fucking dodgeball. Oh.
No, it's just beating up more people.
I just want to let you guys know, no matter what you wear, no matter what weapons you wield, no matter how beefy, muscular you are, you just lose all intimidation factor when you put on a fishnet shirt.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
So, this was River City Ransom. Which gang would this be?
No, I haven't actually played that game. You want to be a bit more specific?
Well, maybe we should do a playthrough on that, and you can sit through that too.
Yeah.
While we're at it, let's add Renegade, and also the River City Dodgeball game.
That's just... I'm not sure if we should, but alright.
No, because then we can tie in River City Dodgeball into Mega Man Soccer, and then everyone's happy.
Well, we're covering all the NES Mega Man games this year, might as well. Love these special moves so much.
They are so cool.
It's a shame that it's random. It's like the whole dealio where you will always get your super powerful move either on the last enemy or as you kill the last enemy, and then you're just left feeling frustrated, and essentially you get a super powered move, blue balls.
You know, I always used to think, based on what little knowledge I had about the game before this, that, I know Travis got the katana online, he bought it. I always thought there was just only the one, but apparently there's a fucking ton of Beam Katanas, which I guess makes sense, but at the same time, it just it doesn't make Travis's weapon feel any more special.
Or unique, yeah. The thing is, because we're playing on New Game Plus, Richie isn't required to go visit Dr. Naomi, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And she obviously, sells you new Beam Katanas, upgrades your current one and such. Will we actually be seeing the others in a showcase?
Unfortunately, I will not be showing off any of the other katanas. However, if you go to part 2, you can see what they all look like when I open the drawer to show them off there. Basically, there is literally no point for me to show off what they do, because I'm just fighting here. I just want to do the best I can.
I'm trying to fight here, do you mind?
Keep note that when you were saying whether that everyone has katanas or whether it's just Travis, the game is going to make a note narratively that attributes the katana to Travis, that they're almost synonymous, something happened involving a Beam Katana, must have been by Travis. Keep that in mind that when the game says that, yet you just plowed through at least 10 other guys that had Beam Katanas.
Yeah.
So even the game itself is not entirely sure on the popularity or the uniqueness of the Beam Katana.
But as we established in the second game, a lot more people start using them bosses and such because of Travis.
Exactly. Then everyone has them, and then it's just not fun anymore.
I think what that may in part be is that what they're using is Beam Swords, what Travis uses is Beam Katana, and specifically with this is because the Tsubaki is actually based on the sword that Thunder Ryu uses, which is basically a really special sword that has no sheath. And that's what the Tsubaki is designed after. So Travis goes from basically using a beam sword to a beam katana, and therefore that would be why the beam katana has become more popular afterwards, because it is actually based on a katana.
I actually like how ghetto his, for lack of a better word, I guess, how ghetto his initial lightsaber is. I've always liked the design of it.
Great design.
Again, this would be an area where we could find a lucha mask, but You got them all. Good for you.
Yep.
What are you expecting, Hell Dragon? I'm trying to get your opinion as we go through the game.
I'm expecting some other shithead I ain't gonna like.
Yeah, how about it?
Well, we'll see whether you like Shinobu by the end of this.
Excuse you, sir. We are having an important anime discussion club. These noobs say that One Piece is not
I'm
good.
just gonna have to stop you here. Just wow. Just wow, man.
It's okay. She killed them all, so it doesn't matter what their fucking opinion was.
Oh, well, that's good, I suppose.
We're dealing with assassins, mate. You expected, like, I don't know, peaceful personalities?
Well, I don't know. I've seen that in anime before, I think.
Look at that background. It's like it was done in MS Paint.
Such a gentleman.
Have to I'd be more worried about the trees than the background.
Well, actually, I wasn't making a comment in regards to the game. I think it looks gorgeous, but let's just move on.
It does, yes.
It almost kind of looks like it was made as a collage. Like, you saw the loading screens where it's just like a bunch of pictures put all over. These scenes almost kind of look too, I mean, it's helped that the trees are pretty much 2D, but they kind of look like they're made out of pictures and stuff instead of all being programmed in a 3D modeler.
I love how this takes place in, like, I know it's like a facility, like, school thing, but it's kind of a little bit like a Japanese tea house as well, maybe.
I mean, that's quite fitting to Shinobu's whole thing, because obviously Shinobu, very similar to the word shinobi, which is ninja, which is basically what she fights like, and there's a lot of Japanese samurai stuff going on with her, particularly because the song for the battle is Season of the Samurai. Now, fun fact about Shinobu is that you were meant to actually fight her twice in the game, and so they had another song for her, which was called Samurai Summer. However, because they cut out the second fight with Shinobu, they reused that song for one of the other bosses.
The last one we're actually recording today.
Yep.
She also visually looks similar to Afro, which is a character in, obviously, Afro Samurai. Which, it's kind of weird that it would be one of those animes, because before they did, Grasshopper Manufacturers, the Isuda's company, after they did Killer 7, they actually did 2 game adaptations. One for Blood Plus, and one for Samurai Champloo. Now, they have credited their work on Killer 7, Blood Plus, and Samurai Champloo as in helping develop how they decided to do the combat system in this game, since both of those involved a lot of swordplay as well. So you would expect to see maybe more of a reference to those two, but no, instead Shinobu has a design from Afro Samurai.
Isn't there a one-hit kill move in this fight, Richie?
It's not a one-hit kill move. It technically only gets rid of 80% of your health bar.
Oh, only 80%? Well, that's fine then.
At the point at which you would normally fight Shinobu, it will basically kill you in almost one hit, especially if you've already taken a few hits. You are actually going to see it in this fight. Thankfully I survived because I had so much health.
Well, you're in a very efficient Let's Play. You show off all the things. Oh, is this it?
No. You'll know it when you see it.
It's just a charge attack.
I'm completely out of my depth here, but isn't Shinobu just her visual design? This is super cool, by the way. Isn't her visual design based on that kind of blackface but not really thing that's prevalent in Japan?
Ganguro?
Yeah, that's it.
Ganguro. Oh my god. The Jinx look. We were talking about Travis's sword a lot in the Tsubaki. Shinobu's sword is called Three Girl Rumba Sword, which is obviously based on a song by The Wire. And she actually has some keychain charms dangling from the hilt that are from the oh-so-popular in-game anime Pure White Lover Bizaru Jerry.
Lovely.
So it's an anime that appeals to both sex.
I think they do technically also further that with Shinobu's design on the second game, because Shinobu does return for No More Heroes 2. And I think they do go further with the whole her liking Pure White Love Bizarre Jelly as much as Travis.
Oh, and they pushed the fan service out in that one as well.
Oh god, yes.
They make her a gothic Lolita.
What are you waiting for? Finish me!
Also, I feel I should point out at this point,
Look at me
she
like
doesn't
that.
have a hand.
Don't!
Well, this is the PAL version, so yes, she does.
I never.
What did you think of the fight, Helldragon?
I think it was pretty good. You know, a good, even back and forth kind of battle. Those tend to be my favorites as a boss fight.
You really should pick it up. It's super cheap now. I think you'd honestly enjoy it.
Well, I mean, I'm watching it now, so let's just kind of...
Was my mentor.
Let's assume because I turned up, I like it enough to talk through it.
There you go. That's the standard way.
That's the HFC way.
I don't know this game, but I'm gonna talk over it regardless.
Over and over till the fucking tape wore out.
Well, that's basically what all of us, bar you, Mexi, did for Ghosts and Goblins.
Those are good games, and I needed you all to praise me.
Just do it!
So, Travis killed her master is what I'm getting, is that right?
She thinks Travis killed her master, but yeah, he didn't.
Yeah, he basically watched all of his movies or whatever and basically learned from him. Kind of like Taskmaster or like Dan Hibiki. I think it'd be kind of great if he had a Dan Hibiki, kind of like Swordmaster.
Anywhere. Until then, I'll be waiting.
One of the only assassins he actually leaves alive. Why he decided... Is it because she's technically an innocent right now?
No, it's because she's a girl.
Pretty much.
That is literally it.
It's something that you will also realise later on.
If she wasn't Kawaii Desu, then her head would be all over the wall. But she's got that little je ne sais quoi, so she gets to live.
What the French call a certain... I don't know what. Good stuff, Richie. That was pretty efficient overall.
Thank you very much. I have to say, I would have preferred not to have gotten hit by Shinobu's attack, or gotten hit as much as I did, but it happens. It's very hard to properly dodge in this game and do like a no-hit run, so you've just got to roll with it, really.
Probably not. She's still young.
This is a thing that's also a transition in between both games. This is the first time Travis spares an assassin, and Sylvia kinda doesn't really care. By the time we get to the second game, she is fucking furious every time Travis refuses to kill his opponent.
Yeah, that really stuck out for me as like, why exactly? You're kind of like hamming it up for no discernible reason.
It's probably just to maintain her company's image. If, like, it's an assassin association, but assassins aren't killing each other, you kinda take the teeth out of the bite.
You are sick.
So are you.
Again, kind of going back to the whole Kill Bill thing. I'm waiting for Tarantino's Kill Bill 3. He said he'd make like 15 years after Kill Bill 2, where one of the spared kids comes back for revenge. I'm kind of waiting for that movie now. Now I'm kind of reminded of that.
I never saw Kill Bill 2, Helldragon. Did you see it?
I saw it. It's okay, but it works best with the first movie. Not nearly as much action and a bit too much exposition, personally. Watch them both together, then you should be better off.
They complement each other is what you're trying to say.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Alright, we have now moved up to rank 8, so I guess it's onwards and upwards from here. We'll see you next time for more No More Heroes. Goodbye.